It's turn 40 in this playthrough of Auburn Crown, and today, as a special treat, we're not going to the replay because the narrator of this series forgot that he was actually recording him. So we are going to the beginning of the turn straight after the replay. In the replay, you would have seen Nick give my Vikings quite a lesson in warfare around the city of Donsborough. I've pushed them back quite a bit. I lost, I think, an elite and 2 veteran units, so it was not a lot of fun, but we live and we learn, and so do the Vikings. So I got quite a few units this turn, and just going to place them around the map. Some of them I'm going to need to move into position via sea. So I just need to consider whether I want to send them via long-range transport or just normal transport. The force coming up from the south is actually quite strong. I think I really need to get their morale back up though, so that's going to be my goal when I come to actually that part of the map. I know there are forces in front of me, and I don't particularly want to run into them like I did last turn. So I'm going to reinforce all of these units. You can see I've got three leaders there. So they've got plenty of leadership and should be able to get their morale up reasonably quickly. Just put scouting, yeah, there's the dwarf unit waiting for me there. This is when I really need some light cavalry. They're much better at scouting ahead. Now Gwartenheim also lost a unit to these cavalry marauders here. So I just want to push them back a bit and see what I can do about continuing to guard against this incursion from Moradon. And I think for it to be successful, I think Nick is going to need to get Mulcan into the act a bit more, so that they can push up from the other side of that mountain range, and take a bit of pressure off the Moradon units. And I'm not seeing any of the Thrangren units. They will come on board at some stage, and they are quite powerful. You might be holding them in reserve. Okay, just going to reinforce over there in the west of Transmorodonia. Unlikely that anything's going to come through, but if it did, I would have difficulty holding them back and would lose quite a lot of gold pieces. I anticipate that there will be a move from Mulcan, so I'm going to go on the defensive to start off with. I've got Imrith in the background there. She doesn't have any targets that she can see over on the east side of the map, but on the west side of the map we have this juicy little target here. So she's going to fly out there and try and get a bit of horse meat from the cavalry. And the giants will help her out. That sort of straightens the line a bit too, which is always nice from somebody who likes straight lines. That's about it, I think, for Gwartenheim, but they do have a decent amount of gold pieces in their treasury. Got a couple of units on the way too, so let's see what I can get. I've decided that I'm not going to put any gold pieces into research for Gwartenheim that is just a personal choice. It actually can be quite effective for them to have certain research levels or technology. And we're going to keep up the Iron Authorities on 72%, so they're moving in the right direction. They're way over in the east of the map, just under Teldori. I think that's where I'll leave Guartenheim and up to the Vikings. So you can see that my forces around Donsborough, South Donsborough, have diminished quite significantly, and I'm going to need to reinforce them. I'm thinking that I can in fact get a number of units ready for a seaborne invasion, so that might be a nice little distraction if I could go for Goodrich, and in the north of Angnord, that could take the pressure off the south. I've got a few transports that I can bring in as well, so I'll do that first, and that will reinforce the south. Of course, the other unknown in this is the position of the Beagwolf Elves, because if they mobilize, which is always likely, I will find myself fighting against them on my western flank, or left flank. Got a couple of transports up here from last turn, so let's move them down. They won't be able to actually do anything this turn, but next turn they will. And I like to keep raiders ready to attack via the sea. It's their job after all. Even if it is a little bit expensive, but as you can see, I've got five units that can attack from the sea, so that seems like a possibility next turn. So up here, the trade route is still iced in from the frozen wasteland, so I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer. It's the middle of winter, so it's understandable. I think I forgot to move these guys last turn, so I better move them this turn. And I'll take their leader, Scoresbone leader, and put him right over in the area of Guildford. Next turn, if I excuse me, if I remember, I'll move them both up there as well. Right, and they have 172 left, so I won't be purchasing anything new for them. Leave the fleet where it is, more or less, in the middle of the Viking Channel. Very, very cold, but, you know, they're Vikings, they can tough it. So down here against Libeslavia, they're still putting up a good fight, as they usually do. They're actually quite a hardy opponent, enemy. So I'm going to have to continue to move into place. It is winter, so it's not the best time to be making these sorts of attacks, but I did take out his elite gladiators. So that is a good thing. At least I know I don't have to deal with them. I'm not going to attack them this turn because A, across river, B, it's a fortification, C, it's raining. Chances are it's not going to be particularly good result for me. Supply is down a little bit, but it's okay. So this group here that is threatening the north of the ancient capital, I'm not really too concerned. Oh, look at this He's got a galley down there. So let's see if I can do anything with that galley. Say hello. Yeah, not particularly good there. But anyway, my galleys are pretty new to this. Bit like the Romans, really, until they worked out how to use the Corvus and all that sort of stuff. They were pretty useless on the sea. And Potentia is similar. And there you go. This is how not to run a navy. Still going to move another galley down here. Using waypoints, which is way better. Okay, so we've moved the fleets into position. Got quite a few units that are sitting in Aramis. I'm going to upgrade them next turn by the looks of things. Much to do there. It's raining. There's probably no threat to me, so let's go and have a look down further south. Okay, going to put some research into weapons, and I've got quite a few points, and I think this is going to be one of those turns where I put everything into research. So weapons to start off with. Armour is already on 2, so they can't go any better than that. As I said, I am building up the Air Force, so they're going to need to have bombardment to be able to do some real damage from afar. And sea fighting, because obviously my Navy lacks it, lacks the ability at the moment. Just move Transorum's units back home, essentially. They won't be doing anything for a little while. And continue to reinforce and build up the Golden Khanate forces, ready for assisting that force that's coming up from the south. So the ancients will have their work cut out for them. That's a saying in Australia. I don't know if it's a saying anywhere else in the world. It basically means that it's going to be difficult for them in the next little while when they face these two significant forces, one coming from the east, one coming from the south, and a smaller one coming from the north. So the ancients do tend to get squeezed over time. I still need to take out Buvalu. Nothing up there. That's alright, that can wait till next turn. Just reinforcing a few units there. And that is about it for that area. So to the map, and we can see that Andania is continuing to head towards Mermont. And so it's going to be a lot of shuffling of units at this particular point. But I still need to have those units that are going to garrison Utena put in place soon. Otherwise I'm going to be wasting a lot of units just trying to keep them under control. So let's have a look there. You can see I've got those 3, but he has actually got a unit in Isabel, which is rather annoying. So I'm going to start putting a bit of pressure on them, but it's going to take more than that to take them out. With the elites fighting against rebels, basically bandits in the woods, that's probably as far as I can go. That is about it for now, I think. I'll probably move a couple of other units but the Andanian Navy is coming up to strength, so they'll be back out at sea pretty soon too. And over here to Murmont, where I'll upgrade whatever I can. Move leaders into position. Okay, so checking the map again. Seems to be reasonably okay. These guys have poor supply, so it's time for them to go back to port. They'll just escort them, even though they had reasonable supply. And send another galley out to continue the interception of that trade route. Alright, ending the turn. Pirate Kingdom has moved 12% towards Potentia, so that's good. And the balance sheet as always. And I have not yet disbanded an Andanian unit. They're still doing okay with their points, but it might be worth doing that. Okay, see you next time. Thank you for watching.